everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Amanda N, and today, on another folklore episode, I wanted to talk about a few strange happenings in Scotland. This is about the Nucklevy. I've seen it in some compilations before, or in the Encyclopedia of Fairies, or even in other YouTube videos, but rarely have I actually seen multiple sources agree on what the Nucklevy is. There doesn't seem to be any one specific moment in history when this mythology emerged. So let's dive right in and take a look and see what we can learn about this demon of Scotland's Northern Isles. We'll start with what it is and then get to where it comes from. According to my sources, a Nucklevy is a demonic sea creature in Scottish and Norse mythology. It's described as looking like a horse with a human rider fused to it. The human arms are so long that they can reach the ground. Its head is 3 feet around, and it has sometimes been reported to have 2 heads. There's another head on the horse area of the body, which has a very large mouth and 1 large eye. The Nucklevy also has no skin. Black blood is visible circulating through its veins. It takes a different form when it's in the sea, but no surviving tales account for what that form looks like. Of all of the folklore and tales from Scotland's Northern Isles, the Nucklevy is widely considered to be the very worst of the creatures. The prefix Nuck may be derived from the word for the devil. The name as a whole means devil of the sea. Aside from its horrific appearance, its breath will wilt and destroy crops, as well as cause illnesses to cattle. It's been considered responsible for droughts, crop failures, and even epidemics. Since it's a sea creature, the only way to escape it is to cross or enter a body of fresh water, since it can't tolerate that, or rain either. Burning seaweed is also said to upset it, though my sources don't really explain why. There's also some sightings of the Nucklevy as well. Orkney folklorist Water Tail Denison, I could be saying that wrong, wrote about one of these encounters in part. Thomas, like his namesake Tam O'Shanter, was out late one night. It was a moonless, fine, starlit night. Thomas's road lay close by the seashore, and as he entered a part of the road that was hemmed in one side by the sea, and on the other by a deep freshwater loch, he saw some huge object in front of him and moving towards him. What was he to do? He was sure it was no earthly thing that was steadily coming towards him. He could not go to either side, and to turn his back to an evil thing he had heard was the most dangerous position of all, so Tommy said to himself, "The Lord he about me, and take care o' me, as I am out no devil intent this night." Tommy was always regarded as rough and foolhardy. Anyway, he determined as the best of 2 evils to face the foe, and so walked resolutely yet slowly forward. He soon discovered to his horror that the gruesome creature approaching him was none other than the dreaded Nucklevy, the most cruel and malignant of all uncanny beings that trouble mankind. On him sat, or rather seemed to grow from his back, a huge man with no legs and arms that reached nearly to the ground. His head was as big of a clue as Simmons, and his huge head kept rolling from one shoulder to the other as if it meant to tumble off. But to what Tommy appeared most horrible of all was that the monster was skinless, this utter want of skin adding to the terrific appearance of the creature's naked body. The mouth of the monster yawned like a bottomless pit. Tommy found his hot breath like fire on his face. The long arms were stretched out to seize the unhappy man. To avoid, if possible, the monster's clutch, Tommy swerved as near as he could to the loch. In doing so, one of his feet went into the loch, splashing up some water on the foreleg of the monster, whereat the horse gave a snort like thunder, and shied over to the other side of the road. Tommy felt the wind of the Nucklevy's clutches as he narrowly escaped the monster's grip. Tommy saw his opportunity and ran with his might, and sore need had he to run, for Nucklevy had turned and was galloping after him, and bellowing with a sound like the roaring of the sea. In front of Tommy lay a rivulet, through which a surplus water of the loch found its way to the sea, and Tommy knew if he could only cross the running water, he was safe, so he strained every nerve. As he reached the near bank, another clutch was made at him by the long arms. Tommy made a desperate spring and reached the other side, leaving his bonnet in the monster's clutches. Nucklevy gave a wild, unearthly yell of disappointed rage as Tommy fell, senseless on the safe side of the water. As terrifying as this may be, what I find most interesting about the Nucklevy is that many myths and folklore seem to have 2 sides. Sure, a monster may exist, but it's usually born from hate, fear, or misunderstanding in a lot of these tales. Yet the Nucklevy doesn't have any dualistic nature. It's just sheer evil, and its purpose is to simply plague the islanders. That's it. So, are we missing a piece of this puzzle? The islands by northern Scotland, the Ochionar, are said to be where the Nucklevy began. Tom Weir, in his book about Orkney folklore, says that the established Orcadian tales were influenced by Scandinavian tales with a blending of Celtic stories, so it's possible that a Celtic water horse was fused with Norse lore. Kelpies, or the mythical water horse of Scotland, is highly associated with them to begin with, so it isn't so far-fetched that these two are related. As for what Kelpies are, in some stories they're described as shapeshifters. They're able to turn themselves into beautiful women, but they usually are male. They are also described as posing a particular danger to children when they take the shape of a horse, attracting their victims to ride them, then they're taken under the water and eaten. In Orkney, a similar creature exists known as the Nuggle. Again, this creature takes the form of a horse and waits by the waterside. Any human mounting the horse is taken into the river of a loch and drowned. In the Shetland Islands, the water horse is known as the Shuipilti. I could be saying that very wrong, and again, lures people to ride but then plunges into the water with its doomed human cargo. This seems somewhat similar to the Nucklevy, and as the Thomas sighting is the only one that we have to go by, I'm inclined to think that this may never have been its own standalone legend, but reinterpreted to become darker, more terrifying, and more evil. Details of the creature also vary from source to source, reinforcing this. So could it be that some of the most evil myths that we believe in have grown from ones that may have been more misunderstood? After all, though Kelpie may be dangerous and have been used to keep children from playing too close to lochs and rivers, their origins are believed to be rooted in human sacrifices to the water gods. A story of a lonely Kelpie has also become somewhat popular, where the Kelpie is far from frightening and deadly, but more of a myth, a spirit, and marries a human. They still react to the world around them. But what do you think? Are Kelpies and Nucklevies two sides of the same coin, possibly deriving from the same folklore? I'd love to hear what you think in those comments down below, and I'd love to hear if there's any other folklore that you'd like me to look into. I like seeing how they're all kind of connected and very similar stories, usually just warning kids, hey, don't play near rivers and lochs. Anyway, with that said, that's where I'm going to end today's video. Thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!